Good Wednesday morning. This is Micah Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I want to give you an update on how the severe threat is looking. Again, for Madison County, this is probably going to be more tomorrow morning than overnight tonight. But, something isolated late evening can't be ruled out. But here's the latest outlook. An enhanced risk of severe. It encompasses most of the northern third of Indiana, basically from the Lafayette, Kokomo area up to Fort Wayne, and then parts northwest of that. Most of central Indiana is in a slight risk for severe, with the marginal risk encompassing the far southern part of Indiana. This is for tonight. Here's the tornado risk, and you can see they really have ramped things up a little bit. Madison County now is in a 5 to 9% risk of tornadoes. But and that's of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. But you can see these cross-hatching on here. So there's a risk for there to be some stronger tornadoes. And then up here in northwestern Indiana, you can see they've added even further cross-hatching the other way. So there's even greater intensity risk up there. So we've definitely have seen a lot of strong tornadoes already this season, including the one that hit Michigan a few days ago. It's unusual this time of year for our region to see big wedge tornadoes this time of year. So that's something to keep in mind, is that if tornadoes occur, they could be strong. Again, I think the majority of that risk is really going to be up in that major crosshatched area up here, basically Lafayette to Fort Wayne and north. But we can't rule it out down here. The other risk, of course, is damaging winds and some potential for some large hail. As we get into tomorrow, then that risk shifts off to the southeast. Here's the tornado outlook. Really no tornado risk here tomorrow. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, the risk tomorrow afternoon would be damaging winds if the line develops early enough. Here's a quick look at BAM's synoptic weather platform. This is right now available for free at synopticwx.com. I highly recommend you check it out. It is an awesome tool. They're improving this thing as they go. So, like I said, right now you can sign up for it for free. But here's a look at the HRRR model, the 12Z, and you can see this is at 10 p.m. tonight, and you can see where the storms are. They may be slightly farther south than this, but you can see the majority of the risk overnight tonight, or late evening, is going to be up there. And you can see it's got these couple of cells all by themselves. That's where, if we see that very much, that's where the risk for larger tornadoes is going to be. You can see back, you can't take these positions verbatim, but the point being, we may see some isolated cells, and then it begins to form a little more. And you can see we've got this low pressure to the northwest. We've got these storms are along a warm front. These storms are along a cold front. And then right in this wedge here where this stuff comes together, this low pressure helps create lift. So the severe risk will be more along this warm front area overnight. And then during the afternoon tomorrow, the risk will shift to being closer to the cold front area as far as this region is concerned. So this is at 2 a.m. The low pressure is moving across. Then we can see as we get to about 6 a.m., the storm activity becomes more widespread as the low pressure moves up to our north. And this is where I think Madison County is more at risk, in that 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. time frame tomorrow. And again, we don't want to see cells getting kind of isolated to themselves, but this will be a situation with this low pressure up here that low can help create some spin. You can also see it's got a little bit of a bow look down here closer to Vincennes. That's where your damaging wind threat is going to be. So again, can't take this verbatim. We're just I'm helping you get some timing on this. So this is at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then we move on. There's 7 a.m. No, I don't want to download that. And then we advance on through the morning, 8 a.m. It begins to move on. But you can see we got a lot of rain activity available to us. And then as we get to, this is about, again, 8 a.m., that I think that timing is wrong. Let me get that tag off of there. There we go. That tag got stuck on there. So this is about 1 p.m. And we can see then as we get into the afternoon, it begins to form this activity farther to our southeast. That's what should happen. If this slows down a little bit, that could be backed up a little bit. This is at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Most of the activity is out of Madison County, but if for some reason this slows down and this front hadn't gotten through, we could look at a severe risk tomorrow afternoon. But again, I think really our risk for Madison County, all modes of severe, is going to be 5 a.m. to about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I've kind of rambled on a little too long with this, but I just kind of wanted to give you this update. We'll see how things develop as we go on. For those of you who heard sirens and don't already know, that was the statewide tornado drill. It's interesting how frequently those tend to fall on severe weather days. But so I will update you, and if I need to go live at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I will do so. But I will keep you up to date on this severe threat if it in fact holds together as we get into the morning.